one day in my Instagram DMs, I have a message from this guy. He was like, oh, hey, do you want to go out for dinner with me? Just so you know, I am dating loads of people. I am not tied down to anybody right now. So feel absolutely free for you to do that same. I had never, up until that point, had a guy on a first date who had asked me out for dinner. Be like, let's get 2 separate checks for dinner. Okay, let's try this again. This is probably the 3rd time I'm filming this video, but we're gonna get it. This is going to be the one. So, hi guys, my name is Anna. Welcome back to the channel. And today I am doing a get ready with me because I'm going to go out. As you can see from the title, as I do my get ready with me, I thought that I would tell you about the time where I dated someone famous, a celebrity. So I'll tell you the whole story from the beginning while I do my makeup. And this video is sponsored by Moody Lenses. They sent me a whole box of contact lenses to try. I'll be trying these on after I've done most of my makeup, so I will talk about these very soon. Let's start with some base makeup. So when Moody Lenses asked me to do this video and they asked me to not include this in a vlog, they want me to do like a sit down talking style video, and obviously then it has to be like a really interesting topic for y'all to click on, right? So I was like really trying to rack my brain thinking what can I do that will get people to click, and then I was like, well, because everyone likes the tea, right? So I thought I would talk about the time where I dated someone famous. This is not in the current present time. This is when I was still living back in London just before I came back to Korea. So during 2020, during the thick of COVID time. It was very briefly. I think I saw him maybe 3 or 4 times. I'm not going to tell you his exact profession or anything like that. I just want to speak about my experience because that's only happened to me once, dating someone famous. So, okay, let me start the story. So this is when I was still living in London. If you guys know my background, I actually used to be a violinist. I used to be a musician. So after graduating the Royal College of Music, I was working in orchestras, teaching, performing. That's how I was making my money, and I even had indefinite leave to remain in the UK. So I honestly thought I was going to stay in the UK for the rest of my life. I had grown up mostly there. I started attending UK boarding school since the age of 9, 10. Obviously I had family in Korea, but I honestly thought that I would be living the rest of my life in the UK. Funny how life turns out though, because COVID kind of changed everything. And as you guys may remember, the pandemic really took over the world from about March of 2020. That's when it got really, really bad globally, especially in Europe, in countries like Italy, the UK, obviously France. They were telling people in London, like, don't go out of your houses. You can only go out 1 hour a day for a walk, but otherwise you have to stay inside and remain locked inside. I was living by myself in this tiny London apartment that I was paying £850 for, which is insane. It was like literally not even a third of the current place that I have now. And so the idea of being stuck alone in this tiny studio flat for weeks on end while the pandemic rages on, I was like, I can't stay here. I'm going to lose my mind if I do that. Korea at the time had a really good control of the virus. So I just called my dad and I was like, please, can I come home for a few weeks or months or however long this might last? And he was like, of course, just fly home. So in March of 2020, I flew back to Korea. I just left my stuff in my London apartment. Like I said, I was a working musician, but due to the pandemic, all of our work came to a screeching halt. We play to audiences. We do concerts. That means a lot of people have to gather in an enclosed space. The pandemic literally just meant that all of that had to stop. Any teaching that we had moved online, and it was a really hard time for my musician friends because it was just so uncertain when work would start up again. And obviously while I was in Korea, I can't really do any work apart from teaching. So I was like, during this time, I'm not just gonna treat this like a holiday. I need to be doing something productive with my time. I was thinking, how can I make money online? So I was like Googling all the various ways. The first thing I actually did was I actually did a coding course for about 6 weeks. I did JavaScript. I was like, maybe this is a useful skill to have. So I did that for a while, and then I decided to make my own blog, like my own website. It's off the internet now, but I just started writing a blog thinking, oh, maybe if some people click on this, maybe you can get paid through the ads, you know? That's what I started off doing. But then I realized nobody reads blogs these days. All media is like video form. So I decided to start doing YouTube. And within the first year of doing YouTube, I was just lucky and I got to 100K within 1 year. So that kind of surprised me. Like I had started getting brand deals and stuff even within the first 3 months of doing it. Obviously it wasn't much, but I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I can actually make money off of this. So I just started and then I carried on doing it. So I had stayed in Korea for about 2 months while I was getting the YouTube thing kind of going. And then I flew back to London, I think June of 2020, thinking that things in London will be better now. But things were kind of still bad in terms of work. It was so much uncertainty. There were a lot of restrictions. And I had honestly such a nice time during those 2.5 months that I was in Korea. The fact that I have all my family here, whereas in the UK, I have absolutely no family. I have friends, of course, but no family. And it's just like a nice security blanket. So I was like, maybe I want to live in Korea after having lived in the UK for most of my life. So I was kind of already leaning towards this idea, but I had gone back to London and was just trying to kind of plod along with life. But eventually, November 2020 is when I moved back to Korea for good. I packed up all my stuff. I was like, that's it. I'm going to leave my life in the UK behind for now. So that happened in November. But before that, getting to the real crux of the story. So I was doing my YouTube content. So my YouTube, and I guess by default, my Instagram was kind of growing slowly but surely. One day in my Instagram DMs, I have a message from this guy, and he is very famous. He was like, oh, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, I've seen you on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. He was like, do you live in London? Because I live in London right now. And at first I was just a bit like, is this person actually DMing me? Because I had never received that kind of thing before. So I messaged back being like, yes, hi, nice to meet you. Yeah, I do live in London currently. And basically, long story short, he was basically like, do you want to go out for dinner with me? And honestly, I didn't really know what to do. Like, I told my friends, I was like, can you believe this guy messaged me? And they were like, oh my God, Anna, you have to go. You have to do it. Even if it's just for the plot, it's for the story. You just have to go on this date. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, if I had just seen him at a bar, or if a friend had shown me his picture and was like, Anna, are you interested in like dating this guy? I don't know if I would have said yes, being 100% real. Like, if he wasn't who he was, and if he was just like a normal guy, not famous, I really don't know if I would have gone on a date with him. But yeah, I mean, he was who he was, and he was kind of very direct. Let's go for dinner and stuff. So I was like, why not? Let's do it. So yeah, we had arranged to meet in Soho in London. We went to a Korean barbecue restaurant. It was like a rainy day. I had an umbrella and I got to the restaurant. He was already sitting there. We were like, hi, nice to meet you. And we just started talking, I guess. And it wasn't awkward or anything. He's very confident and he can talk a lot. So it wasn't awkward at all. I remember him talking a lot about his work and stuff. This was at a point where he had become suddenly really super popular and he was enjoying all this like newfound success and fame. So his ego was kind of at an all-time high, I must say. And I could tell that he was just kind of living on the high of his current life right now. I just found it all very amusing. He was funny and he was just easy to talk to, listen to. He told me about how much money he had made in the past year, and it was a lot of money. And he was kind of just like, you know, flexing and trying to, I guess, just like showing off. That's how guys try to rizz up girls. So we ate all the Korean barbecue and then he said to me, do you want to go get drinks after this? There's a bar nearby that I like. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? Let's go get drinks. And so he was like, okay, I'll get the drinks in the next place, but let's split this bill half for the dinner. And I... Okay, this is going to spark off a discussion in the comments. I can already see it. But I had never, up until that point, had a guy on a first date who had asked me out for dinner, be like, let's get 2 separate checks for dinner. I know some people in the comments might be like, Anna, that's not so unreasonable. He said he's going to get the drinks in the next place, so for dinner you split half. It's okay. And yeah, to some people that might be okay. But the thing is, the drinks at the next place, it was at a bar in like a hotel in Leicester Square. So he paid for half of the dinner and then for the cocktails itself. And so it basically came out to the same price as if he had just paid for the dinner up front. And if he had paid for dinner, it'd be like, hey, I got this. I asked you out. Dinner's on me. Then when we went to the next place, I would have been so willing to be like, hey, I'll get the drinks since you got dinner. And this is just a much nicer way of doing things on a date rather than let's get 2 separate checks for dinner. I have literally never on a first date been asked that before, and honestly it was a big ick. It was a big turn off. And call me old-fashioned, guys, but I just think if you're the guy and you asked a woman out for a first date, you should just pay for the date. Yes, now women earn their own money, yes, girl power and all this, but I still have this old-fashioned thing in me. For the first date, the man should just pay. And obviously, if I see you more times, if I like you and we become in a relationship, then obviously we just take turns in paying and it becomes way more equal. But just for the first date, and you asked me out for dinner, and especially after talking so much about how much money he had made in the past year, you asked the girl to split the dinner with you. Just seems so cheap and stingy. But of course I wasn't gonna say all that. I was just like, okay, yeah, sure, let's get 2 checks. And so the waitress came, and in Korea we go up to the counter to pay, but in London they just bring you the card reader. So she gave it to him, he paid half on his card, she gave it to me, I paid half on my card. And after the date, I came back and I was telling all my friends, girlfriends and guy friends, what had happened. And I was like, this guy, he's a celebrity, and he was talking about how much money he had made, and he made me split half for dinner. They're all like, what the fuck? Even my guy friends were like, obviously we don't even earn nowhere near as he does, and we have never ever done that to a girl on a first date. And I was like, Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. But actually, I think it was at the bar. Either he told me then or on the second day, I can't really remember, but he was basically saying like, hey, just so you know, I am dating loads of people. I am not tied down to anybody right now, so feel absolutely free for you to do that same. And if I just explain what this means, especially if I have Korean viewers watching, they might not understand. But the dating culture in the West, like the UK or America, is obviously very different to Korean dating culture. In Korea, if you go on like a blind date or a sogeting, general rule is that by the third time you meet, you've made up your mind whether you want to be in a relationship with this person. But from what I had observed in London, people take the relationship title way, way more seriously. So they can be like, oh, I'm dating someone. You're going on dates. You're basically doing all the coupley things, but you just haven't put the stamp. You just say, oh, I'm seeing someone. I'm dating someone. Even if you introduce them to your friends, you can be like, this is the guy or girl that I'm seeing. That can take weeks, sometimes months for people to make it official. Even my friend, Jason, he said he was dating a girl for 6 months before they made it official. So it can really, really depend and vary. But in this dating phase also, if you're upfront and you have clearly communicated about it, people are allowed to date multiple people during this period. This also depends case by case. Some people might be like, I can only date one person at a time. There are other people, like this guy was, date like 3, 4, 5, and I'm just still seeing who's the best fit for me. And then once I decide, okay, I really like my favorite person, then I'm gonna, get rid of all the rest. In Korea, honestly, I really don't think this happens. Or even if it does, you're not gonna say it outright to the person that you're dating. You want to keep it secret. And so this might seem like very different dating culture, but obviously I had lived in the UK for a long time and I kind of already knew that that's how it goes. So when he told me like, hey, I'm seeing loads of different women right now, so feel free for you to do the same. I wasn't really like into him, like I said. So I was just like, yeah, sure, okay, I understand what you're saying. My thought is now, looking back, if he was dating so many women and going on so many dates, then yeah, I guess paying for each of these dates can get expensive. I wonder if he was saying to the other girls that he was dating on the first date, like, let's split this. So that's basically my makeup done. He asked me to go on a second date, and so I was like, yeah, okay, why not? Again, doing it for the plot, just doing it for the memories. So before I tell you about the rest of the story though, because now I've finished my makeup, I think now would be a really good time to integrate the Moody lenses that is the sponsor of this video. So let's do that now. So if you guys follow me on social media, you might know I actually got laser eye surgery 3 months ago now at this point, and it was the best money I have ever spent in my life. Nothing has brought me more satisfaction than my LASIK. Just to wake up every day and just wake up with crystal clear vision. I don't need to keep squinting like this everywhere. It has been amazing. So I seriously highly recommend, for any of you pondering about getting LASIK, I seriously recommend you get it done. So Moody lenses, they actually have contacts in prescription and non-prescription. So these are all non-prescription for me right now. And these are currently the most trendy, most viral contact lens brand on TikTok. And obviously they're FDA and CE approved, and they're very comfortable and safe for the eyes, which is clearly very important to me. I want to protect my new eyes. They sent me 4 pairs, so I'm going to try them all on for you and let's see which ones you like best. So first up, we have Jazz Lightyear. They are a brown outer ring with golden shimmer, which defines and brightens the eyes, appearing soft and adding a touch of elegance. Okay, so that's the difference. This is my eye without the lenses, and this is the eye with. There's clearly kind of a big difference, the diameter change, and you can see the color difference. So what do we think? Do we like these? So yeah, Jazz Lightyear. This is Jazz Lightyear. Next up, we have Gemini Blues, and it's blue contacts with delicate glitters, which creates an icy vibe reminiscent of a cold beauty. Oh my gosh, I do love these. I love the blue. It seems pretty natural when you see me, does it not? And I would say it's not so fake and startlingly blue. It can be used for dailies, I feel like. And also, I am a Gemini, actually. I am a May birthday baby, so I am a Gemini, so I do like these. Let's get into the lenses from the Hush Hush collection. We have Breeze, which are grey, and Swing, which are green. Breeze is a toned metallic pattern that makes eyes sparkle, perfect for a vibe change, like a more chic, laid-back girl vibe. And Swing takes a clash of lake green and sunset yellow, ideal for summer. I think these might be my favorite. I love green. I love green lenses. And it looks kind of good with my hair right now, I feel like. No? So if you guys like the look of these Moody lenses, because I love them, use my code ANNAL20 for 20% off at moodylenses.com. It's been a while for me since I've worn contacts, and I forgot how fun, and it switches up your mood and it makes you more confident and stylish, and it's just a lot of fun. And so yeah, I'll get back into wearing colored contacts again. Okay, so to finish telling you the rest of the story, I think the second date was at a restaurant where he was really friendly with the owner. So when we ate there, the owner of the restaurant, he was like, oh, don't pay anything, it's all on the house. So like none of us paid that night. The food was really good though. And I think I saw him either once more or twice more after that. I can't really remember clearly, but this was obviously at the time where I had really made up my mind that I was gonna go back to Korea for good. So I just knew like it's just for fun, but it's not serious, it's not gonna go anywhere. And so I had kind of started packing up my things. And actually, funnily enough, the last time I saw him, we actually took a taxi to the airport together. Me obviously heading to Korea, he was going somewhere else, but we took the same taxi to Heathrow Airport together. We just said goodbye at the airport, and I think he was under the impression like I was going to come back to London eventually at some point. Obviously for me, I wasn't entirely sure, but I had made my mind up that I wanted to live in Korea for a good while. Yeah, and that's basically been the case since then. So he was like, oh, I'll see you again. That was basically, yeah, the last time I ever saw him. And after that, after I'd gone back to Korea, we kind of sometimes messaged, but obviously it wasn't gonna go anywhere. And now it's been many years since then, and obviously a lot has happened in my life. I never went back to the UK, well, to live there anyway, and now I fully live in Korea. Yeah, that was basically my one and only time where I dated someone famous, a celebrity. He's become even more well-known since then, I think. So I wish him all the best. I've basically done getting ready now. I have dinner plans in a bit. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.